Successful volleyball teams utilize tactical systems and strategies that make the best use of the combined skills of their individual athletes. Top teams also select and adapt their tactics to counter opponents' strengths and exploit their weaknesses. This DVD program, featuring members of the 2008 U.S. men's team and top women's collegiate players, has been created to demonstrate the most effective offensive and defensive systems used in the game today. In addition to these tactical demonstrations,
Ball's down. Nice hustle.
you'll also find a number of drills to practice specific tactics with your team. By adapting these tactics to the skill levels of your players, you'll maximize their success and take a big step in creating a cohesive and effective team.
That's Rich.
Have fun and good luck. In this section, we'll demonstrate 4 common volleyball serves. We'll begin with the standing float serve and standing topspin serve, and then progress to the jump float serve and the traditional jump topspin serve. All of these serves can be used strategically to win the point outright with an ace, or take away all or some of your opponent's offensive options. Tactically, a well-placed standing float serve can give your team a defensive advantage by forcing a bad pass from the receiving team that prevents them from running their first choice of attacks. This serve is hit without spin, creating an unpredictable movement pattern that makes it difficult for opponents to track. To be effective, servers should be able to hit the serve short, deep, cross-court, and down the line. The serve begins with either a weight shift onto the front foot, a single step with the lead foot, or as shown here, 2 steps forward ending with weight on the lead foot, and a low toss out in front of the hitting side foot. The contact point is at the top of the server's extended arm in front of the hitting shoulder. Servers should use fast arm speed with a firm wrist and hit the center of the ball with the palm of their hand. To hit the short zone float serve, the arm speed is slowed down before contact. Tactically, the jump float serve can be used to create some confusion in the defense because the serving motion is similar to a jump spin serve. Opponents may be unprepared for this very unpredictable serve, which is contacted in the same manner as the standing float, but from a higher point off the ground. On the final 2 steps of the approach, the right-handed server steps right, then left. Servers jump and use moderate to fast arm speed to make contact with the ball slightly out in front of and in line with their hitting shoulder. The standing topspin serve is primarily effective because it can be hit with tremendous speed and power and drop quickly in front of the passers. This serve may also give your team a tactical advantage because opponents may be expecting a slower standing float serve. This serve requires fast arm speed and a higher forward spinning toss just in front of and above the hitting shoulder. To get speed on this serve, servers must have good upper body and core strength to add to the topspin action on this hard-hit serve that was initiated by the toss. The traditional jump serve is tactically used as an offensive weapon because of its speed and heavy topspin. This serve is hit harder and from a higher point than the standing version. Opponents have less time to react to the ball because it's contacted higher with a flatter trajectory, causing the ball to drop quickly toward the floor, making it hard for the receiving team players to make good passes. This serve requires very fast arm speed and a fast, aggressive approach. The toss should be high and farther in front of the body than the other serves. Servers should toss the ball with topspin, chase the ball with an aggressive approach, and hit up and over the ball to add even more topspin to this serve. In this section, we'll demonstrate the 5, 4, and 3-person serve-receive systems. The 5-person serve-receive patterns can give all passers fairly equal responsibility for receiving serve. This system can be used strategically to prevent opposing teams from picking on a struggling passer or wearing down a single passer because of the multiple passers receiving serves. On occasion, one or more passers may be given slightly more or slightly less area of passing responsibility. 5 players are positioned in a typical W formation. The setters here are designated with red shirts. No liberos are shown in this or later formations. 3 players are on, or near the 3-meter line, and are primarily responsible for short serves. 2 other passers are positioned closer to the end line and are responsible for receiving hard-driven deep serves on their half of the court. The 5-person serve reception pattern is flexible and can be adjusted in response to specific opponents' serving strategies or tactics. Passers can be moved into areas where most serves are being directed. Because this system has space or seams between the 5 passers receiving serves, players must be very aware of who has responsibility for each of the multiple seams in order to avoid any miscommunication on serves directed between players. The use of a 4-person serve-receive pattern offers a choice of 2 principal strategies. In the first strategy, the most skilled 4 players pass in every rotation. In the second strategy, all players, except for the designated setter, take their turn receiving serves from the 4 designated reception positions on the court in each rotation. In both strategies, passers are typically positioned in a U shape. 2 passers stand approximately 4 to 5 feet inside the right and left sidelines and about 12 to 15 feet away from the net. 2 other passers are positioned about 10 feet away from their closest sideline and approximately 8 to 10 feet away from the end line. The 4-person pattern has fewer seams or space between passers than the 5-person system, which decreases the number of decisions to be made by passers. However, it also requires passers to cover more area to receive serve. The 3-person serve-receive pattern is strategically used to have the 3 best passers, regardless of their rotational position, pass in every rotation. This strategy has fewer seams than the 5- or 4-person serve-receive patterns and often results in more passing consistency. In this system, passers are aligned in either a semicircle or a straight line across the court, approximately 23 to 26 feet away from the net. Some coaches prefer to position these passers about 20 feet away from the net to better cover short serves. Passers in this system need to be proficient in receiving serves with both forearm and overhead techniques. With the three-person serve-receive pattern, the court is split into equal thirds, where each passer is responsible for their particular area. Coaches also have the option of giving their single best passer responsibility for handling serves in a larger area of the court. In addition, coaches may manipulate the pattern in each rotation in order to place the best passer in the area most likely to be served into. The objective of this drill is to improve communication between the left forward and left back passers in the five-person serve-receive system. Start with two teams of 5 and have servers serve down the line to the left front and left back players. The ball is passed to the setter, who sets for a left side attack against the blocker. Teams attempt to complete 3 successful pass, set, and hit sequences in a row, whether to the front row or back row attackers. The objective of the pass, set, hit, middle versus middle drill is to establish good communication and areas of responsibility between the left back, right back, and middle front passers. Begin with one middle front, left back, right back, and setter on each side of the net. The server alternates serves to the opposing players. In this drill, regardless of which passer receives the serve, setters must only set the middle front players, who attempt to reach 10 kills before their opponents. The opposing middle front player is allowed to block and receives 1 point if she successfully terminates the attacked ball with a block. The objective of the pass, set, hit, right side versus right side drill is to encourage good decision-making between the right front and right back players. The drill begins with cross-court serves, as seen here, or down-the-line serves to either the right front or right back players on each side of the net. The player who is able to move forward is always the player who should receive the serve. The setter then sets either the front or back row right side attacker for a kill. Each side is competing to score 10 points with kills. The opposing left front player is allowed to block and receives 1 point if she successfully terminates the attacked ball with a block. The passers versus passers drill helps the left and right back passers practice the tactic of receiving serve in the 4-person U formation. Servers on each side begin by serving to passers behind the 3-meter line. Passers on each side are trying to score 10 points first, with 1 point given for a perfect pass, 1 point taken away for a service ace, and no points for a ball that is passed but doesn't reach target. The objective of the setter attack in a row drill is to practice the tactic of having the front row setter attack on the second contact rather than set the ball to a hitter. Servers alternate serving to a 4-person U-serve reception pattern. The ball is passed and then attacked by the front row setter if the pass is to target and high enough. After 3 minutes, serves are made continuously to one side to give the setter a better chance to terminate 3 balls in a row. If the setter can't successfully terminate on the second contact, she should still attempt to set for an outside attack. The objective of the pass, set, quick attack drill is to help the setter practice the tactic of running quick attacks with front row players from the 4-person serve-receive pattern. The drill begins with servers trying to serve aces to a 4-person serve-receive formation. The middle hitter transitions off the net as the serve is contacted, and the setter sets a quick attack to the middle hitter. After 4 minutes of serving, the middle hitters must then terminate 4 kills in a row. The Serve Plus conditioning drill helps players practice serve reception tactics and technique during continuous action. The drill begins with a serve and pass and rotation of players. After a player has served, she will sprint over to the other side of the net to prepare to pass. The passer who receives the serve becomes the target setter. The target setter then sprints over to the other side to prepare to serve. Coaches work on helping players remain focused throughout the drill, even when they are fatigued. In this serve-receive drill, servers score small points for aces or when they force bad passes. Receivers score small points for passes that make it to the setter's target area inside the 10-foot or 3-meter line. 4 small points for either side equals 1 big point. The first side to reach 3 big points wins. 3 to 4 receivers rotate after 5 serves. 4 players alternate serving, using a variety of serves. If a player serves an ace, he earns the right to serve again. In this section, we'll demonstrate 4 defensive tactical systems: the player back and player up, with either a 2-blocker or 1-blocker system. The player back system, also known as the perimeter defense, is a tactic that promotes a balanced defense against teams that attack deep portions of the court. This balance is achieved when a back row player can dig an opponent's line attack, cross-court attack, or any attack that goes into the deep middle or corners, which will be defended by the middle back digger. Back row defenders are positioned around the edges of the court to allow them to move forward when digging.
There it is, there it is, there it is. Cover it.
Players move to these positions from their base defensive positions after the ball has been set, when the set direction and hitter have been determined. The player-up system is a tactic used against teams that tip often, particularly behind the block, or hit soft shots to the middle of the court. There are three major variations of this system: the off-blocker defense, the setter-up defense, and the back row player-up defense. In the off-blocker variation, the off-blocker moves as soon as the setter sets the ball to the hitter away from her side of the court. In the setter-up variation, the setter is responsible for coverage behind the block. The base position for this digger is on the 3-meter line near the middle of the court. From here, she moves behind the block. In the back row player-up variation, the designated back row player will switch into the player-up position near the middle of the 3-meter line, while the other two backcourt players balance the court. The principal purpose of the two-blocker system is to get two blockers up in front of the hitter at the point of attack. It's used when opponents have a strong hitter who can only be defended with two blockers. This strategy lessens the tactical advantage that a great hitter has over a great digger. It also leaves 4 players to defend any balls that get past the block. The middle blocker takes part in every block in this system, whether it's formed on the right, middle, or left side of the court. This requires the middle blocker to read, anticipate, and shift from her base position to the side where she thinks or reads the ball will be set. The decision on which blocker joins the middle blocker is determined by where the ball is set. For example, left side blockers will set the block for the middle blocker when the opposing team has set their right side attacker. Or the right side blocker will set the block for the middle blocker when the opposing team has set their left side attacker. When the opposing team sets their middle hitter, the most skilled blocker on either the left or right side should help the middle blocker in slowing down this middle attack. Or if the opposing setter is in the front row with no hitter behind on the right side, the left front blocker can often release quicker to help block the middle attack. The one blocker system is a tactic used by teams that may have only one effective blocker, or when they're playing against a non-aggressive hitting team whose hitters do not deserve a second blocker, or when defending against the middle attack. The one blocker system puts more pressure on the single blocker, but also provides more diggers and therefore more opportunities for the defense to be successful by digging and running a transition attack. Coaches often position the single blocker in a base position that shifts them slightly toward the area most likely to be attacked, and also to take away the cross-court angle which is most often attacked. The objective of the Digging the Cross-Court Attack drill is to practice digging hard-driven cross-court shots with only one blocker while in the player-back defensive system. The drill begins with a player tossing a ball over the net to a passer who passes to the setter. The setter sets the left side attacker. The defensive side starts in their base position and then moves to their player-back defensive positions when the ball is set. The defensive side now digs, sets either to the left side front or back row hitter, who attacks the ball cross-court. The defensive team must convert 3 dig, set, kill sequences in a row to successfully complete the drill.
There you go. You got 2. You got 2.
Now repeat this drill on the right side, beginning with a free ball to the defense.
Spot right here. We need a great dig to target. Set. Put it down. There we go. So this side is trying to
The
score.
objective of this plus 10 drill is to score 10 points against a team in a player-backed defense. The drill begins with a free ball or down ball to a side of 4 who dig, set, and hit to the side of 6. The defensive team attempts to block this attack or successfully dig and transition to offense. Teams receive 2 points for a successful terminal block or successful dig, set, kill transition. 1 point is scored for a successful dig, regardless of the outcome of the play. Teams will lose 1 point for digging the ball over the net or for an unforced error, and lose 2 points if no effort is made to dig the attack.
Now to plus 2.
Teams will stay in the same rotation until one team scores 10 points. The objective of this game is to improve the transition from serving to defending an opponent's quick attack using the player-up system. The drill begins with a serve to a team of 6 players in their serve-receive pattern. After the ball is terminated, the tosser tosses another ball to the setter on the serving team's side, who sets the quick attack. The original receiving team is now on defense and must successfully dig the opponent's quick attack, setting and terminating their own transition attack. The objective of this game is to practice running the middle attack after the player-up digger digs the ball. This may be run using the off blocker, the setter, or a back row player in the up defender position. The ball is set to a left side attacker. This attacker tips or hits an off-speed shot to the player-up digger who is behind the block. The middle front player on the defensive side transitions off the net from blocking the left side attacker and hits a quick set. This drill can be repeated with the middle blocker moving to block the right side attacker who tips to the up defender, then transitions off the net to hit a quick attack. This drill trains middle attackers to hit around a 2-person block from the middle front position. The drill begins with a toss to the setter, who sets the middle front player for a quick attack against 2 blockers. After the ball is terminated, the tosser on the other side repeats the same process, starting with a toss to the setter on that side. Play a rally scoring game to 10 points.
One more this side.
This 2-blocker system drill gives the middle blocker repetitions in blocking the opponent's left side attacker and transitioning off the net to attack a quick middle set. The drill begins with a toss to the setter, who sets the left side attacker. The opposing middle front blocker makes a move to defend against this attack, while the defending left blocker transitions off the net to defend against the attack. After the ball is terminated, the tosser on the other side tosses to the setter, while the middle blocker transitions to attack a quick set in the middle. Play until one team scores 15 points, either by kills or stuffed blocks.
Good. One more on this side.
This two-blocker system drill develops the conditioning necessary for the middle blocker during long points or for the duration of a game or match. The drill begins with a toss to the digger and a set to the left side attacker, while the middle blocker makes a move over to block. Immediately after the ball hits the floor, the blocker returns to base position at the middle of the net. The same tosser again tosses to the digger, and the setter again sets the left side attacker. This requires the middle blocker to repeat the move over to the opponent's left side attack. Perform for 3 minutes, exchanging blockers every 3 to 5 tosses. In this section, we will demonstrate the block the line, dig the angle, block the angle and dig the line, and middle block, read, release, and commit strategies. All of these strategies can be used with any defensive system and should be modified to meet the specific needs of your team. The block the line and dig the angle defensive strategy forces hitters to hit cross court instead of down the line. Outside blockers are positioned to take away the line shot. 3 diggers, the front row and back row cross court diggers, plus the middle back player, are placed in the cross court position where the ball is likely to be attacked. This positioning is known as flooding the zone. Diggers must not only read the attacker, but also make sure that they don't defend against the same shot that the blockers have already taken away. The block the angle, dig the line defensive strategy is primarily designed for defending against teams who like to attack cross court. Blockers are then positioned in front of the opponent's most common hitting angles. This strategy challenges opponents to hit down the line from their outside hitting positions, thus creating more unforced hitting errors, since there is less court space for them to hit into. And the hitter may not feel confident in hitting this less practiced or preferred shot. This positioning also makes it easier for diggers to dig, since balls hit down the line often aren't hit as hard as cross-court shots. The middle block read strategy is used most often against teams that do not use a fast tempo offense. It requires that the middle blocker wait until the opponent has set the ball before making a final move to the point of attack. The middle blocker must be able to read where the setter will set the ball, so that she can shift or overplay slightly in the anticipated direction and quickly move to the area where the ball will be attacked. If using a middle blocker release strategy, the middle blocker will automatically release to block a specific hitter that has been identified by the coach. The middle blocker could also use a commit block strategy by actually jumping just before the quick set is delivered. This ensures that the blocker is above and over the net before the hitter can contact the ball, whether or not the quick or commit hitter actually gets the set. This block the line, dig the angle strategy drill helps players practice the concept of flooding the zone to convert hard-driven attacks from the opponent's outside attackers. The drill begins with a tosser tossing a ball to the setter, who then sets either the right or left front attacker. The outside blocker takes away the line, regardless of what they see the hitter do. The back row players start in player back base position. Once the ball is set to an outside attacker, the middle back will shift to the cross-court angle by making a lateral move, providing two backcourt diggers for the most likely shot. The off blocker will also back off the net to help dig the sharper cross-court angles. Diggers stay until 10 settable digs are made.
Take line, blockers.
This block the line, dig the angle strategy drill helps the line digger practice digging balls that are deflected off the block. The drill begins with the tosser initiating a ball over the net to the digger, who digs to the setter. The setter sets the left front attacker. The right side blockers take away the line shot, while the opposing attacker purposefully hits into the block, causing a deflection. The diggers in the left back and right back are positioned to dig the deflected ball to target. Now repeat the drill for a right side attack. The ball is set to the right front attacker, while the left side blockers take away the line. The attacker hits down the line, and the diggers chase and dig the deflected ball to the setter. This block the angle, dig the line drill helps line diggers in the player back system practice digging hard-driven balls down the line when the hitter hits down the line or outside or around the block. The drill begins with a toss to the setter, who sets the left front hitter. The two blockers block angle, leaving 2 to 3 feet for the hitter to attack down the line. The right back digger starts in base and then releases to a deeper digging position after the ball is set. The attacker hits hard down the line. Diggers must dig 10 balls up in a playable position to end the drill. One dig is taken away if a ball is dug over the net. Now practice the drill on the other side, with the right front hitter attacking down the line at the left back digger. This middle blocking strategy drill gives middle blockers experience in reading the dig and practice releasing to move in the direction where they think the ball will be set before the ball is actually set. The drill begins with a free ball toss to the digger. The middle blocker reads the quality of the dig and releases to the point where they think the ball will be set. The setter can still set wherever they like. Two middle front blockers can alternate on each rally or after 3 to 5 repetitions. Blockers score 1 point for reading and moving to the correct spot before the ball is set, and an additional point if they actually block or slow down the attacked ball. Continue the drill until the middle blockers reach 10 points. This middle blocking strategy drill helps middle blockers improve their level of conditioning. The drill begins with a set to one of the outside hitters. The middle blocker moves to block that hitter. After the ball is hit, the middle blocker moves back to her base position. Another toss is made, and the setter sets to the other outside hitter. The middle blockers will switch after 1 to 5 repetitions. Repeat with middle blockers alternating for 2 minutes. Then the blockers as a group must get 4 slowdowns or stuff blocks to end the drill. In this section, we'll present three common tactical systems for organizing your offense: the 4-2, 6-2, and the 5-1. The decision to use the 5-1 system to organize your offense often depends on the ability of the single setter and the consistency of set delivery. In this system, one player is designated as the setter and is responsible for setting in all 6 rotations, providing for 3 front row attackers in 3 of 6 rotations. Traditionally, the 5-1 system will have 2 outside hitters, 2 middle attackers, and 1 right side attacker on the court. The setter will typically set from the right front position, regardless of his positioning on the court, and play defense in the front row from there as well. When in the back row, the setter will play defense from the right back position, which eases the transition from defense to the front row to run the offense. Your team's best left side hitter and best middle hitter should be positioned directly behind and in front of the setter in rotational serving order. This positioning ensures that these 2 players will be on the front row with the setter in 2 out of 3 rotations, giving them greater opportunities to score points.
I like that open palm.
The 6-2 organizational system is one that is tactically used to overload opponents with multiple attacking options in every rotation. This offensive formation consists of 2 setters opposite each other in the rotational order so that each will set from the 3 back row positions, with 2 outside hitters and 2 middle hitters to utilize 3 attackers in the front row at all times. Teams running the 6-2 will generally also have the setter penetrate to the net from the right back position to allow an easier transition to the front court to set the ball when running the offense. When positioned in the front row, the other setter is considered an attacker and will usually play in the right front position. This position allows her to act as the secondary setter should the primary setter have to make the first contact. The International 4-2 is a simpler offensive tactical system that allows teams to maximize ball control by using 2 setters opposite each other in the rotation who will set when each rotates to the front row. The term international refers to the setter's position in the right front row. Because the setter is already in the right front position, she does not have to move far when making the transition from blocking, digging, or player-up defensive positioning to her offensive setting position. This positioning also allows setters to mostly front set, thus allowing right-handed left side and middle attackers to attack from their strong side. That is, their hitting arms are closer to the setter. In the American 4-2, the setter's position would always be the middle front position, allowing a left front and a right front hitter to attack. This 5-1 or 4-2 system drill helps front row setters recognize if there is a blocker trying to block their attack or trying to stop a quick attack. The drill begins with the setter making a block jump, then landing and turning to receive a toss, which simulates a dig by the defender. If the left front blocker jumps with the setter's contact, the setter will make a middle set. If not, the setter will attack on the second contact. This drill can either be run for a specific time limit or until a specified number of balls are put away. This 5-1 system drill trains the setter to recognize, when coming from the back row to set to the hitters, what the block is trying to take away. The drill begins with the setter moving to the net from the right back position and the front row players transitioning off the net to get available to attack. As the setter approaches and crosses the 3-meter attack line, she should glance quickly to see whether the blockers have established their base positions or where they have moved to based on the quality and location of the pass. The setter is trying to get hitters in a one-on-none or one-on-one situation against the opposing blockers. Run the drill until the setter is able to set hitters against 1 or 0 blockers for a specified period of time or number of contacts. This International 4-2 or front row 5-1 drill helps the setter and middle attacker improve their hitting behind the setter. The drill begins with a ball to the digger. The setter sets a back set to the middle hitter. This includes the area right behind the setter, Zone 7, or the area out to the antenna, Zone 9. The digger should pass to different targets to move the setter into different zones to practice setting the back set to Zone 7 or 9. This offensive system drill helps teams practice transitioning from defense to offense in the 5-1 or the 6-2 system.
Here we go, setter dig.
And reacting to the back row setter having to dig the first contact when in the defensive alignment. The game begins with the coach hitting a down ball to Team A's back row. When that point ends, the coach feeds a free ball to the losing team's side, which is also played out. The coach now begins a second series by initiating a down ball to Team B's side.
Good talk, B.
Followed by another free ball to the losing team's side.
Non-winner.
After 4 balls have been initiated from one sideline, the coach switches to the other sideline and continues this 2-ball pattern to allow the defenders to dig balls coming from the opposite angle. A point is awarded to the team that wins both rallies. If each team wins one of the 2 rallies, then it is called a wash and no points are awarded. After a predetermined point total or time limit is reached, each team rotates one position.
Nice swinging on the outside, nice defense.
If the setter is in the back row, the coach can hit the down ball to that player's area to see how the offense will adjust to the setter digging the first contact.
Let's try that again. Here we go, setter digging.
The emphasis is on quick transition footwork for the front row players, reading and closing the block, then turning and running off the net, and always getting available as hitters. For back row diggers, emphasis is on consistently digging the first ball in system, allowing for a transition set and attack. In this section, we'll demonstrate 4 common strategies that can be used with any offensive system. They are the spread, fast tempo, multiple tempos with combination plays, and swing. Each of these strategies is designed to counter a variety of defensive strategies, but should also be selected based on your player's abilities to execute them. The spread strategy is used to overwork and stress your opponent's blockers. In this strategy, the setter sets hitters in zones all along the net and even the back row. The zones are numbered from the left to the right antenna and can be as many as 9 or as few as 3 different zones. The spread strategy forces the opposing blockers to defend the entire length of the net, pulling them farther out of their base positions and making them work much harder. It also makes it difficult for the middle blocker to get outside, allowing the outside hitters to hit against a one-person block or a poorly formed double block. The fast tempo offensive strategy is used to neutralize strong blocking teams. This strategy involves setters delivering fast and low arching sets to 3 front row hitter positions. These fast sets make it difficult for blockers to react quickly, often resulting in no blocks, one-on-one situations, or poorly formed double blocks. The offensive strategy of using multiple tempos with combination plays consists of having 2 hitters hitting in 2 zones side by side, such as with this middle front, middle back combination attack in zones 3 and 4. This strategy is designed to overload the blocker responsible for defending against the hitters in that zone. This often results in the blocker having to make an incorrect decision on which hitter to block, or not having enough time to land and adjust to defend against the other attacker. The first hitter traditionally hits a fast tempo set, such as a 51, while the second hitter hits a slower second tempo set, such as a 52 or a 42. The swing strategy can be used when you want specific athletes to receive serve from all 6 rotations. The front row players will generally pass from inside the court and then swing out into their front row hitting positions. The swing strategy is most commonly used with 3 or 4 person serve reception patterns. The simplest form of the swing strategy is to have the hitters receive serve, then transition to attack from their usual front row positions. Some teams will incorporate a strategy where the swing hitters are allowed to hit anywhere along the various zones of the net. The use of this strategy is based on players' overall attacking capabilities and what opposing blockers are doing to stop them. This offensive strategy drill teaches ball control, hitting to zones, and practicing hitting different sets. It can be used as a cooperative warm-up or as a competitively scored drill. The drill starts with hitters digging and passing to the setter, who sets one of the hitters for a swing from cross court, right front to right front. The setter and hitter will switch roles each time they put the ball across the net. After a specified time, the hitters go down the line, left front to right front. Then to the other side of the court, where the swings are cross court, left front to left front. And finally down the line, right front to left front. This drill can also be made into a competitive game, with 5 cooperative rallies over the net and then playing the 6th rally out for a point. This spread strategy drill teaches left side attackers how to look for and hit the gap between the right side blocker and the middle blocker. The drill begins with a free ball to the passer and a high set to the left side attacker. As the ball leaves the setter's hands, the attacker must look to see if a gap exists between the right side blocker and the middle blocker moving to close the block. This is accomplished by the hitter quickly eye-checking the block before starting their approach, then quickly looking back at the set. If a gap is present, the hitter attempts to hit through it. If the block is closed, hitters attempt to terminate the ball without a tip, hitting over, off of, or around the block. Setter and passer should help the hitter by calling split if one exists. This spread strategy drill trains the left front blocker to help block the opponent's quick middle attack and then transition outside to hit a set in zone 1 on the net. This drill begins with a free ball to the digger, who digs to the setter, who runs a quick attack. In this case, a 1 set to zone 5. The left front blocker must help block the quick attack and turn and run to get available to attack outside. After the quick attack, the tosser tosses a ball to the setter, who sets high to the left side attacker in zone 1. Continue for 3 minutes or have the left side attacker terminate a specified number of balls. This fast-tempo strategy drill is for developing the blocking and transitioning movements off the net, which are necessary for outside attackers to be able to hit quick attacks. The drill begins with a free ball and dig to the setter. The setter sets the left side attacker while the opposing right front blocker attempts to block. After the block attempt, the right side hitter transitions off the net as the setter on that side moves to the net from the right back position. The tosser tosses a ball to the setter, who backsets a quick attack to the right side hitter. This quick attack can also be run in front of the setter. The left front blocker again transitions off the net as the free ball goes to the digger. The left side attack proceeds as before, and the right side block again transitions while the tosser feeds the setter. The setter sets a quick set, in this case a 42 to the right side attacker, coming around in front to run the middle. Here the left side blocker attempts to block the quick attack in zone 4. This multiple tempos with combinations drill is to give the right side and middle attackers repetitions to experience hitting the right cross or X. The drill begins with a free ball toss to a digger as the setter moves toward the net and blockers transition off the net to become available hitters. The setter either sets a 51 front quick set for the middle hitter or a 42 second tempo set for the right side hitter. Run the drill with the same middle attacker and right side attacker for 3 minutes. As a variation, you can give the right side and middle attackers multiple repetitions hitting the wide cross by having the middle attacker hit a 31 and the right side attacker hit the 52. This is a 6-on-6 2-ball wash drill. This drill is excellent for practicing serve, receive, and defensive strategies, as well as blocking patterns and offensive tactics.
Nice hustle.
The game begins with a serve, and after the point is played out, a down ball is hit to the receiving team. If one team wins both rallies, they get a point. Hitters on both teams switch in and out after each 2-ball series. When one team wins 3 points, they win the game. The middle hitters then switch sides, both teams rotate, and the game begins again.